Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Today we are checking out this little 2024-2025, I'm not entirely sure the year model of this bike, Honda NX500. This bike belongs to my good friend, neighbor, Hubert. If you follow the channel, you know that I've been stealing his CRF 300 lately to make some reviews of it. And this is his wife's bike that she just sold, so before she actually sells the bike, I thought we make a little review on this bike because I rather like it. So what are we dealing with here? Well, this is a beginner-friendly but not beginner-only bike. 500 cc's, twin cylinder, about 48 horsepower. Upside-down fork, 150 mils of travel, 19-inch front wheels, double brakes on the front, 17-inch on the back, comfortable sitting position, decently sized tank. I don't remember the actual number now. I'm gonna put it on screen right now. And adjustable. Wait a second. Is it adjustable? I don't think it is. Non-adjustable windscreen. But this very nice little display here that you can connect to your phone, and then you have navigation and everything. It even tells you your setting for your grips, for the heating, and I've been looking forward to ride this bike for a while now because I actually love this little bike. I think it's a great do-it-all starter. Well, not only starter, but if you've been riding for a while, you're searching for something not too expensive, but a bike that will do everything. This is it. All right, let's get to it. Sag hallo, Lucy. Outside, inside. I can already tell that the geometry of the bike is very neutral. I like that the suspension the suspension is decently firm for the type of bike that it is. For being such a lightweight bike, probably geared more towards beginners. I am positively surprised by the damping of this bike. It has a good amount of compression. The springs are not too soft. The bike remains very composed when dealing with corners and braking. Yet the suspension still is soft and compliant enough to absorb even the smallest bumps on the road, so it's very supportive without being harsh. Very, very good. First impression of the suspension, I gotta say, well, not only the suspension, but the geometry of the bike, I gotta say I'm very, very impressed with it. Already liking it a lot. The next thing that I noticed immediately is that the brakes on this bike are really good. So not only do they fight very decently, but they also don't require a lot of force on the lever and on your foot to create the desired brake pressure. They require very little effort for you to achieve the brake pressure that you're looking for, while also being very manageable. So these brakes will never scare you. The clutch is just like the CRF 300, probably one of the lightest clutches ever. I guess it's because this bike has a slipper clutch. The bite point of the clutch is very defined. You never get that jump scare. It feels very natural. One thing that so at the beginning of the day it was a little bit colder, and one thing that I noticed immediately was how quickly the heated grips on this bike heat up. I was impressed. I turned it on, and not only 15 seconds later, you could already feel the heat coming through. Okay, let's check the power. Third gear. Not bad, not bad. It's a little engine. We're going uphill here. 125, no problem. And I am a heavy guy. I am about 185 or 6'1", about 85 kilos, 210 pounds more or less. And this bike is dragging my weight, no problem. The gear space is also really good. And though I might be a little bit bigger than this bike was intended for, I gotta say, this is a very comfortable place to be. For my body size, I would maybe raise the bars a little bit, but like here, it's a really comfortable sitting position. But the pickup of the engine is surprisingly good. After about 5,000 RPM more or less, it almost feels like the engine wakes up for a second time, and then it just has this second push to it. It is very linear though, and I like that. You've probably heard me saying this about the CRF300 on the review of that bike. This bike being a twin cylinder, it feels not too dissimilar to the Tenere 700, meaning that from the lowest RPM all the way to the run line, it creates very linear power. It's almost like, I mean, it makes only 48 horsepower, but this engine feels like it's making the 48 horsepower almost all the time. You don't have to search for the power. Obviously, higher RPMs, it does push a little bit better, like I was saying previously, but it is a surprisingly linear engine, even on low RPMs. Like, for example, we are getting into a little bit of an urban situation here. I'm not gonna drop too many gears. I'm gonna stay on as high of a gear as possible. Like we're doing 40 right now. I'm gonna keep it on 5th. Okay, I'm gonna have to drop it to 4th. But look at this. Lowest RPM, 2000 RPM. And it still drags my weight really, really well. Very agile and very stable at the same time. Oh, I was in 2nd gear. Oh, see, wasn't even a problem for this engine. Yeah, I'm liking this bike. It's windshield, very good. I like motorcycles that have windshield, but what I don't like are motorcycles that take all of the wind away from you. I do like to feel, a little bit of the wind. I just want my windshield to remove the air pressure off my chest and my helmet, but I still want to feel the wind, and this is exactly what it is. It removes the pressure entirely of your body, and it's not creating any weird vibrations to my helmet, even though I am, a little bit too big for this bike. So, very good. Love the exhaust note on this bike. It sounds very healthy. It sounds very alive. It sounds like it's having fun. Yeah, this is, you know what? This is a good way to put it. The exhaust note on this bike sounds like the bike is having fun. funny how I'm really getting along with this bike, because it's funny how I don't have to change my manners on the motorcycle to ride it. I can ride it very similarly to my Tenere 700. Obviously, I need to adapt for having a little bit less power when I'm overtaking, but you know, chassis-wise, the way the bike behaves on the corners, it feels surprisingly similar to my Tenere 700, even though they are not really similar bikes. We got a 19-inch front wheel here, different tire sizes, different suspension travel numbers. But I think the geometry is probably not too far from the T7, so at least on the streets, obviously not off-road, this bike behaves very similar to my T7, being a little bit more on the agile side, while the T7 is a little bit more on the stable side. But the way I tackle corners, the way I tackle braking zones, it's... well, I guess what I'm trying to say is that I don't need to adjust my riding style too much. I am riding this bike naturally, like I would ride my T7. Whoop. And it feels natural, and it responds natural as well. Like, the bike is not telling me that I'm doing something wrong. The bike is not giving me the feeling that it's uncomfortable doing something that I wanted to do. It's been doing everything that I've been asking from it. You know, we've been riding slow, we've pushed a little bit on some corners and some braking zones, we did some trail braking, and the bike is just like, yep, just keep doing your thing and I can do it with you, you know? The bike hasn't complained at all. If anything, because the bike has considerably less suspension travel than the T7, going into trail braking zones like here, for example, like this right here, the bike can do that so well. It's a great bike to practice trail braking. It's it feels so good. It feels neutral, it feels natural. It doesn't do anything unexpected. It responds as naturally as you're riding. So if you have a very smooth riding style, then this bike will never complain to you about what you're doing. I'm liking this. This is really good. I can see this bike being a very good fit for a beginner, but also for an experienced rider. So, you know, even if you have a little bit more experience, I'm telling you, man, you're gonna be happy with this. You really are. Like, if someone stole my T7 today and all I had money to buy was a NX500, I wouldn't be mad about it. I'm sitting comfortable here. The engine makes power enough. The brakes feel really, really good. The chassis and suspension feel really good. The gearbox spacing is really nice. I guess the only thing that we won't be doing today, and it's not going to be a part of this test, is highway testing. Because where we are right now, you're very far away from any highway. So that's something we're not going to be doing today, probably. But back to my point, I think whether you're a beginner or an experienced rider, if you're looking for a little bike that will do everything and everything really well, I think you would be very happy with this. What's up, dude? It's obviously mainly a road bike, but you know, it has a little bit more suspension travel and the 19-inch front wheel, so you can definitely do a little bit of off-roading with this bike. Nothing too crazy, but let's put it this way: if you are traveling and you find yourself off-road, the bike can take it. You know, the bike won't complain about it. If you're looking for something like this, but a little bit more towards off-road riding, then maybe take a look at the new Kawasaki KLE 500 that just came out. But other than that, this bike here is surprising me in a very positive way. Even though this bike has a cable throttle, I like how the throttle mapping is very smooth on this bike. It's smoother than my T7, I gotta say. The T7 sometimes on, on-off throttle, it can be a little bit jerky sometimes. This bike, the throttling on this bike is a little bit smoother than the T7 for sure. It doesn't chain slap as much as the T7 does. What a beautiful little road we got here. Yeah, this is exactly this is exactly the type of place that a bike like this will feel very at home. This is the type of road made for this type of bike. Look at this. Really cool. Oh man, I'm liking this. Ever since Honda announced this bike, man, when was it? Was it like 12, 13 years ago? Originally called the CB500X with a 17-inch front wheel. I always thought to myself, man, if Honda just gave this bike an upside-down fork and a little bit more travel and a 19-inch front wheel, this would be like the perfect all-around budget-friendly motorcycle. That bike that you can pretty much recommend to anyone and everyone. Well, 13 years later, here we are. That's exactly the motorcycle that I wished for all those years ago. And it doesn't disappoint. Quite the opposite. It's meeting all of my expectations, and in some ways, it's exceeding all of my expectations as well. So if I know Hubert, as you can see, we are heading towards the Autobahn 96. And I think he's gonna want to ride this little mountain pass. So if that's the case, then I take back what I said before. Maybe we are actually riding a little bit of Autobahn today. So I'll get back to you guys in a second. Well, we are not necessarily on a highway, but we're doing 120, so I guess this demonstrates a little bit how this bike would behave on the highway. I'm happy to report that it's very comfortable. I got no wind pressure, I got no turbulence on the helmet. We are doing about 6,000 RPM, and I have no weird vibrations going on here. I can see myself going a long trip with it. And I still have plenty of power. Yep. Oh my god. Nice. So this road right here, we just rode over some really hard bumps back there, like this one. And the suspension just takes it all, it's amazing. Honda managed something really good here, which I was saying previously. This suspension does a very good job of being stiff enough to give you, proper road feedback. But it's compliant enough to absorb everything. Again, on that road back there, we just had some really rough bumps, and I was getting ready for some impacts on my hands, and I was like, oh, nothing is being transferred to my hands. The suspension feels really, really good. I'm liking the suspension, even though it's not adjustable. I'm also not feeling the need to adjust it. I mean, the very little time that I've had on this bike until now, I probably wouldn't even adjust anything. Maybe just the preload on the back because I'm a bit too heavy for the base setup. But even that is feeling really good, to be honest. This bike is fun. I'm happy to report that the bike has a lot of ground clearance. Even though we've been, pushing some corners back there, I've been, messing around with my, the tip of my foot to see if we are anywhere close to the ground. And not only haven't we scraped the pegs a single time until now, I haven't even been able to scrape the tip of my foot on the ground until now, so... And it goes to show that the bike has a lot of ground clearance. For some cornering fun. Oh, this engine's a little riot. I like it. It feels so happy revving up. It just invites you to rev up all the time. So much fun. Alright guys, I don't intend making this video as long as I did at the CRF300, so I guess we're gonna do a quick bit of ramp up here. So on the little time that I've had on this bike, I've been riding it now for about 2.5 hours. Sitting position is good, even though I am slightly too big for it. Not uncomfortable at all. Quite the opposite, it's very comfortable. Cornering manners is at least for me, the trail braking cornering manners of this bike is to me the absolute highlight of this bike. I was expecting it to be good. I was not expecting it to be this good. Suspension setting, again, one of those things that on this price range you don't really expect anything too special, but to my surprise this is actually quite special. It feels really, really good. Brakes, more than good enough. Engine, more than good enough. Very linear. It works down low, like we're doing 30 kilometers an hour. I'm even gonna click a gear up here. Look at this. And it still goes. But it's also just as happy to rev up. And sounding very good while at it. The gearing spacing is really good. No weird vibrations going on. I mean, you do have the classic twin-cylinder engine, good vibrations, but no buzziness or uncomfortable vibrations. I like the wind protection as well. The screen is really cool. You probably noticed that at the beginning of the video I had the black background and now I have the white background. So very easy to read. You can even control everything with this little joystick right here. For example, we have here... What do we have here? For example, you can see your grip heating level there and adjust it. So that's really cool. You can connect your phone to it and do some basic navigation. Everything feels typical Honda, very high quality. Everything feels very solid. Everything feels very purposeful. There's a USB socket right here. So my first impressions of this bike, as I was expecting, it's indeed very positive. Although I was not expecting it to be this positive. It's the bike. So what is this? Did the bike meet my expectations? Is it below my expectations? Or is it more than the sum of its parts? I would happily say that this bike is more than the sum of its parts. You look this bike on the spec sheet and you have certain expectations to it, and then as soon as you start riding it, just like my T7, the bike just somehow ends up being better than everything that the spec sheet led you to believe. So I'm very, very happy to report that. The bike feels indeed very good. Every positive thing that you've ever heard about it, it's true. In this short little 2 hour and 40-minute rides that I had with it, at least until now, I couldn't find any real negatives with it. If I do, I will write something in the comment section. If I forgot anything, for example, the fuel consumption is very low on this bike, but I don't have any numbers. I will have to ask the owner. But I do know that it's very, very low. Anyway, if I forgot anything, just check the comment section below. I will leave a pinned comment there. And as always, guys, thanks so much for watching. Thanks for joining Hubert, Lucy, and I on this little ride. Our first ride of the new season 2026. And I will see you guys on the next one. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.